Reggie Miller, three-pointer on the way. Got it.
See again, Austin Crozier, because of his speed, he not only spreads the court, but he has the ability to take guys off the dribble. That creates help. That gets Reggie Miller open. That's what they need, a guy who can create.
Pacers 4 for 7 on their three-pointers. Rip Hamilton has an answer as he knocks one down. Miller and Hamilton having that hand-to-hand combat battle, and Rip Hamilton's going to be called for the foul.
Well, you know what? He was caught with the second one. Reggie Miller pushed him off. Rip Hamilton reached out to grab him. The official saw the second one. Watch the push-off here with Reggie Miller.
There's the first one.
Well, you're going to see another one. It's coming up right. Push right there. You see the push, and then he grabs, and he gets the second one. Both of these guys are great.
The grabber got that one. Artest going against Prince. Nice move. That time used his body to just kind of shield Prince's length away and then laid it off the glass, and Artest has 14 points.
Shield, bulldoze might be another word for it.
Wallace wants it. They don't get it to him, and a foul's on Tinsley, and that's his third. Ron Artest having his best game of this series so far.
Yeah, the difference is, to me, again, he's attacking the basket. He's not even looking right now at Tayshaun Prince or his body. He's going straight to the hoop, and I think that's what he has to do. Prince's length absolutely bothers him. There's no doubt about that.
14 and 6 right now for Ron Artest with 2:17 left in the quarter. Billups at the free throw line, normally automatic, and is there. Tomorrow night on TNT, the Lakers and Minnesota, Game 5. Lakers can close things out if they can win. And then Monday night on TNT, if necessary, would be Game 6 of the Western Finals on TNT at 9 o'clock.
Boy, Shaq and Kobe.
Pretty good, aren't they?
They're pretty good.
Lead down to 7 again. And Corliss Williamson bumping with Ron Artest is going to get... Remember Jamal Tinsley, you can see him limping noticeably. It's the hamstring, the ankle. You take that whole left leg, it's not feeling too good. And now with 3 fouls, he's going to get a couple extra minutes of treatment and head to the locker room.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. He has 3 fouls. He knows he's not going to play anymore this half. And instead of sitting on the bench, they're going to take him in the locker room and get him treatment. That's a good move.
Corliss Williamson, by the way, picked up his 3rd foul. And he's out of the lineup right now. Artest got a good look. Tayshaun Prince with the rebound. We're under 2 minutes in the half. Kevin and the guys in the halftime studio are waiting. They'll be joining us shortly. O'Neal with a rebound. That's his 8th rebound for Jermaine O'Neal on touchy knee. Isolation. Artest will give it up. Gets it back. He's been the man with the shot clock winding down so far tonight. Rasheed Wallace, second chance at the rebound. He got it. Billups all the way.
No one picked up the ball. The one thing you have to do is stop the ball first. No one picked up the ball. Billups takes it all the way, left to left for a layup.
Boy, if the Pistons get one more stop and get one more basket on the other end in this final minute, it would be huge because they were down at one point by 12 points in this half.
See, look at this. No one backpedaling. You got to stop the ball first. You know, when Anthony Johnson saw a guy behind, he was concerned by that. But you got to trust your teammates. Hope that somebody gets him, but you must stop the ball.
The other thing that Anthony Johnson might have been thinking is Tinsley's got 3 fouls, and I'm his replacement, and I've got 2, and I can't get too cute on my defense here. Checking with Jim Gray.
Brad, Doc, you are exactly right. Jamal Tinsley, nothing else happened to him. He's just going to get his hamstring worked on because he has the 3 fouls. The training staff wants to get to it right away so they can have the full period, so he's not sitting out here on the bench with a chance for it to really cool off. They're going to go in and put the ultrasound on it and keep it warm through the halftime, Brad.
All right, Jim, thanks.
You know, I did ultrasound for 13 years as a player. I still can't tell you exactly what it does.
At least you don't need one out here next to me.
No, not yet.
That'd be a bad thing. O'Neal, that's his first point in a long, long time. He had 2 early field goals and then hurt his knee at the 2:33 mark of the first quarter. And now those 2 free throws gives him 6 for the game.
And every minute he's on the floor gives him more confidence that he's okay.
Lindsey Hunter in the lineup for Detroit. Campbell, who was so good early off the Detroit bench, in there as well. Rasheed Wallace, the clock at 5, threw it away.
I tell you what, I would not want to be in the Detroit locker room at halftime because you're going to hear things like ball movement, you're going to hear things like turnovers, you're going to hear things like individual play and passion. That's going to be talked about.
There's going to be some adjectives and adverbs around those things, right? Yeah. Reggie Miller trying to give it right back to Crozier, and the Pacers turn it over. And that's their 8th turnover as well. So Jermaine O'Neal's going to be an early entry into the Pacers locker room, too. And you can see still a little bit of a grimace on his face as he walks back there with 31 seconds left in the half.
There's nothing worse when I was a player when you go in the locker room at halftime and you see your key players laying on that table.
Yeah.
I tell you, it really does. It bothers you.
2 starters will be there before everybody else is. Hunter had an open look, gives it up to Billups for 3. I thought he got fouled on that shot, and so did he, but that's not the call, and Artest now will dribble it up. Pacers are going to have the halftime lead on the road.
Well, he tried the world free kick.
Remember, they tied for the best road record during the regular season, and they just tack on 3 more. A huge 3 by Austin Crozier with .7 left in the half. And now it's a 10-point advantage for the Pacers at the break. Indiana 5 out of 8 on their 3-point shots in that first half, including a real killer there as Crozier knocks it down to put the lead back to double digits. 49-39. Let's check in with Jim.
All right. By getting the ball inside, and then Chauncey Billups, quote, jacked up a 3-pointer. Brown called that settling, said we're playing like strangers, but his final comment, Brad and Doc, was, we'll see what we're made of by the next timeout.
Will they ever? Beginning the quarter, always so key, as Indiana closed out the first 2 quarters in great fashion. 16-6 in the first quarter, 5-0 to end the half, including that 3-pointer by Crozier just before the buzzer. And here the Pacers with a 10-point lead have an opportunity to stretch it. Crozier will try a 3, and he got it. Wow. He ended the quarter with 1, and then he started the quarter with 1.
Exactly, because the Pistons are so used to running back on defense in the paint, especially their bigs. Austin Crozier is not running in the paint. He's looking for that line.
Biggest lead by either team in the series. 13-point advantage for the road Pacers. Rasheed Wallace, he's going to have to be big in this second half. He got what he wanted, but missed the shot. Rip Hamilton will try to clean it up and does.
See, that's where the Pistons are going to have to take advantage, is on the boards, because they have an absolute size advantage.
Tinsley hooks it around to O'Neal. He'll take the 18-footer and got it. Well, that'll be something to rest his mind a little bit, hitting his first shot of the quarter.
Yeah, and again, it's a jump shot. And I think that's what you're going to see more out of O'Neal right now is jump shots. And that's fine because he's capable.
O'Neal now trying to guard Rasheed Wallace with 5 on the shot clock. And he did a nice job of it. And now running the court And saving it by bouncing it off Tayshaun Prince. So he's done a little bit of everything here in the opening 2 minutes.
He's probably looking at Tinsley right now thinking, come on, man.
Yeah, lighten up on the pass.
Yeah, that's a tough one for me right now.
And then he has to jump over the camera guys on the baseline. Crozier has a wide open three again, and he got it again.
I tell you, they fell on this in the second half of the last game. When Rick Carlisle put in Austin Crozier, he saw what it did to the Detroit Pistons defense. They're spreading their defense for the first time in this series. They're getting every shot that they want.
You told me before the lineups were announced, I like what Rick's doing with a lineup change. He's got to love it right now. His team is up by 16. Detroit's looking at 16-point deficit. Doc, let's talk about the impact of Austin Crozier and how it's working.
Well, you can see it right here. I want you to look at Ben Wallace. He is so used to running into the paint because that's what he's done all series. But look who he leaves open. Austin Crozier. He's not running into the paint like most 4s and 5s. He's standing behind the three. Here we have another look. Watch here. Ben Wallace is worried about this and not this. And by doing that, Crozier, one more time,
yep,
three-pointer.
3 of them tonight for Austin Crozier, and the Pacers as a team 7 out of 10 from outside the arc. Let's check in with Michelle.
Some more harsh words from Larry Brown telling him we've got to move the ball. We can't just throw it and stand around. You've got to get it going. You're not going to do it by yourselves. We're getting exposed by ourselves. And again, turning it over there.
And the Pacers on a 13-2 run that goes back to late in the second quarter, and with a turnover they can add to it. Reggie Miller. And now Artest is going to have to put one up. Knows it. And Ben Wallace with a rebound. You know it's getting critical. Ben Wallace has gotten rid of the headband. And he's going to go to the free throw line.
Well, that's what Larry Brown wants. He wants them to pound it down low. See, in Larry Brown's mind right now, the Pistons are playing small ball against a small basketball team. He wants them to play power ball, tall ball. We're bigger than this team, Larry Brown is saying. Exploit it. Drive to the bucket, power down low, get them in foul trouble, make Rick Carlisle go big again.
Yep.
But right now, they're settling for so many jump shots that they don't have to do that. The Pacers, they can stay small.
Problem is Ben Wallace at the free throw line is a liability, although he did hit the second of 2 there. 57-42 as we approach 9 minutes in the third quarter. Pacers trying to even things at 2 games apiece and take the home court back to Conseco Fieldhouse with them on Sunday on ESPN. And now loose ball picked up by Rasheed Wallace. Billups, a kick out. Hamilton, good from there. Nope, not this time. Definitely more in their offensive swing, though, after that turnover. You'd expect Rip Hamilton to knock that one down. It rattled out on him. O'Neal, big sweeping hook shot. And Wallace with a rebound.
O'Neal is looking fine. He's moving fine. I think that jump shot got his confidence up.
Tayshaun Prince has been so quiet offensively in these playoffs compared to the earlier series. Hamilton not going to miss too many of those.
He's the one guy this evening that hasn't lost his touch. Without him, this game would be over already.
He's got 17 points. And he's had 20 or more every game. Tinsley takes it all away. Nobody picks him up.
You know why? Austin Crozier. Before Rasheed Wallace shows, he was so concerned about getting back to Crozier behind the three-point line, he never stopped the ball.
Billups penetrates and dishes to Rasheed Wallace. Artest. Guarded by Tayshaun Prince. The pick and roll to O'Neal. Jermaine O'Neal, and he's feeling better with every shot, I think.
That jump shot turned him around completely. He made that jump shot, then he drives to the basket, doesn't make it, but he feels good.
The lead swells to 17, the biggest of this Eastern Conference Final Series by either team. Hamilton kicks it outside to Prince. They move it around to Billups for three. Ben Wallace keeps it alive there. And now Ron Artest picks up his second foul.
And you're looking at Jermaine O'Neal, he just takes shots now. You know, you remember when he first got injured, he was kind of hesitant. Now he has that swagger back.
You could see it with a look on his face after that shot. Kind of looked to the crowd. Rasheed Wallace. O'Neal blocked it. Billups and Artest trying to play for the loose ball, and they got Chauncey Billups in the gut, and that's Ron's second in the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, but what a great block. You know, right when you start feeling good about yourself, then you get excited. O'Neal is starting to play again. It's good to see.
Remember when Ali used to throw that last jab and say, take that one with you?
Yes.
And here's the steal by Artest. Artest asking for the ball. He's got Billups on him. Reggie Miller's open momentarily. Now he'll take a runner, and he got it. Reggie has 10. At the 6-minute mark, 63-44.
So Reggie Miller is left open.
O'Neal with a rebound off Hamilton's miss. And Jermaine O'Neal now has 10 points and 10 rebounds.
The run then you're going to ask for more to it. That's because you have 4 guys arguing with the ref about which way the bucket should go in instead of getting back on defense. Leonard Bronson has the Sullivan more after this game.
Rasheed Wallace. 2 Pacers go down. Artest and Miller. Artest is saying, hold up till we get up there, Jamal. There they come. Boy, you can hear a pin drop in here with the exception of that long shot by Reggie.
Well, I can hear Larry.
I can hear Larry and I can hear sneaker squeaks, but that's about it. They've taken the crowd of 22,000 completely out of the game. And this is a tough place to play. Pacers are making it look relatively easy right now. And they can't even get it in close. Rip Hamilton. And now his miss, rebounded by Wallace.
You know, I'm watching Rick Carlisle, and he is so not used to teams rebounding on him. But he's going to have to live with this for a little while.
I had to momentarily shut up because I was going to have Jamal Tinsley in my lap. Yeah, we got everything straightened out.
And I think the official's going to change this call because this probably should be going the other way. Yeah, that's a good call. But I'm looking at Rick Carlisle and all the offensive rebounds that are going on. You can see this ball should go the other way. Good call by the official.
And look at Jamal pulling up with that hamstring. He's gutting it out, limping around.
I mean, you have O'Neal out, injured, playing. You have Tinsley on the floor, injured, playing. You know, this is a young basketball team, and games like this build character in this team and trust with each other also.
No kidding. You know that your guys are going to do everything in their power to be out there. Then you tend to have their back at every turn. Our test on Hamilton, and Hamilton's quickness pays off there. 19 for Rip, but the lead is still 19.
But Rip needs help this evening.
And Jamal Tinsley heading back. He's holding the left hamstring, and obviously in a lot of pain as he heads to the Pacers locker room.
Well, I think he hurt it on that play. You can see the grimace, Brian. I thought he made an effort to try to go after the ball, and he had to pull up. Now, when you have an hamstring, and if you can feel it, it's just a matter of time before you pull it.
Yep. Anthony Johnson, his replacement, to move on the baseline, and a foul. It's going to be on Lindsey Hunter.
Well, you know, Corliss Williamson, and I hate to categorize him as a small, but in a lot of ways, he usually plays the 3 spot. I'm looking at the Detroit Pistons team right now. He's on the floor as a 4, so Larry Brown has decided to match up and go small with the Pacers instead of trying the tall ball.
Trying everything. Pacers shooting 70% this quarter that has 4 minutes remaining. Bender underneath. He'll make sure.
See, now they're going small, but you look at Bender, he really isn't a small, so now the Pacers have a chance to work the boards. So Rick Carlisle has to like the way this game is going right now.
Boy, after how game 3 went, actually all the games in the series, it's been almost impossible to get open looks. To see a lead open up of over 20 points is just amazing. O'Neal goes up and gets another rebound.
See, now all of a sudden, O'Neal is the biggest guy on the floor.
Whistle and a foul going to be on Hamilton. That's his 3rd. And Rip's doing it almost by himself tonight.
Yeah, and by himself, it's not going to be good enough.
Getting every rebound. When he's blocking shots, getting every rebound, and the players around him are performing, so it makes it easier for him.
Larry Bird, Austin Crozier was your guy when you coached the team. He has come in here and changed the entire complexion of this series tonight, hasn't he?
Well, he took some shots. He did get the offense a little bit by spreading them out, and looking about what we want right now.
I talked to you the other day. You said there's nothing better than to have quiet on the road. Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, right now, there's still a lot of game left.
We appreciate your time. Let's go back to back.
Pistons open up after the timeout with a zone, and they get the rebound off the miss.
Well, you know, it's funny, when I'm looking at Pacers right now without Crozier, it'll be interesting how the Pistons play, because now they don't have to score as much, and it'll be interesting how their defense works out.
And they're struggling right now because they have as many turnovers as they have field goals in this quarter. They're 3 of 18 from the floor. Anthony Johnson's going to go to the free throw line.
I'll tell you what, Anthony Johnson has been terrific. Not only him tonight, throughout this series, he's been the one guy consistently that keeps driving the ball into the paint. And that's what Rick Carlisle wanted him to do.
Remember, he has Finals, Eastern Conference Finals, and NBA Finals experience. He backed up Jason Kidd in New Jersey. And so he knows what it's all about at this level.
You know, that's where the Donnie Washers and the Larry Birds are so good. When they can bring in the subtle player that helps their basketball team. Kenny Anderson is sitting over there on the bench.
Yep.
He's going to pay dividends sometime in this playoffs for this Pacer team. Johnson has done it all year.
With the exception of Reggie Miller and Kenny Anderson, Anthony's the oldest guy on this team at 29, not old by any stretch, in his 7th season out of college at Charleston. And tonight, 5 points for him as the lead is advanced to 22 and could be 23, and is. Michelle.
Brad, during that last timeout, Larry Brown did all the things considering zone defense, drawing up plays, but the last thing he said to his team was, we have to make a statement that we're not giving in. Brad, Doc.
Going to be tough to do now. Down 23, still 2.5 left in this quarter and a fourth quarter to come. James on a runner. Everything's just short right now. Finally, nope, still didn't go in. How many shots from 4 inches did they have right there? Bender leaves it for Harrington. Nice move, but he didn't finish.
The good ball movement. That's what Rick Carlisle has been preaching.
And Rip Hamilton knocks it down in every game. He's been over 20 points now.
He's been terrific.
21 for him tonight. Johnson's going to take one over James, and Hunter with a rebound.
That's not the ball movement they want.
Rip Hamilton has 8 of the 9 points this quarter for Detroit. Just missed one there.
You know, the one thing Larry Brown said that I thought was interesting, and Michelle talked about it, was don't show that you've given up. See, now they've gone from trying to adjust to win the game to talking about the mental. That's a big statement.
Rozier loses the handle, turns it over. 10th turnover suffered by Indiana.
And the one thing the Pacers can't do is start getting tentative here. You know, those last 2 possessions were possessions like, let's try to hold on to this lead.
Corliss Williamson. And a whistle and a foul away from the ball is going to be on Harrington. The Pacers, we talked about how cold their shooting has been in this series. How about the Pistons shooting tonight? It's been horrendous.
Yeah, that's pretty much horrendous.
32% if you add all that up.
My goodness.
That's why all those long faces on the sideline.
But you know, Rick Carlisle talked about his team, that his offense was bad, so their defense is bad. It's the other way around this evening.
Corliss Williamson in close, who's fouled by Jones. And he'll go to the free throw line. Corliss steps up. Remind you to tune in to NBA TV to see the emotional story of one of the greatest players to never make it to the NBA. Hooked, the legend of Demetrius Hook Mitchell. Premieres June 14th only on NBA TV.
I don't know where Hook Mitchell is from.
Yeah, you got to watch.
I have to watch.
So the Pistons, Doc, trying to make a statement here, but 69-49, it's going to be a heck of a statement coming back from 20.
Yeah, it would be. I think right now the Pacers are making a statement. And I was really curious coming into this game because the Pacers are such a young basketball team, and psyche is so important in sports. We didn't know which way they would go, and they've shown us this evening that they're capable and they're mentally strong enough to be a contender.
Certainly didn't hurt that they got off to a good start from the floor. They struggled so badly, and Ron Artest was such a huge part of that first half to get them going in the right direction. Rozier is fouled underneath. I think it's going to be on Tayshaun Prince. And they're going to call him instead on Ben Wallace. They were both there. That's 3 on Ben. Here's the guy that has kind of changed the complexion of the ball game by being the starter tonight instead of Jeff Foster, who started all season long. And, you know, every time Rozier does something well, you look over and you see Jeff Foster's the first guy to be clapping and applauding. Even though I know he'd like to be playing, he knows that this change has helped them immensely tonight.
It really has. I mean, look at the substitutions. It's been rare that you've seen the Wallace and the firm of Wallace and Wallace do something together. Well, that's because one of them been out of the picture all game.
Right.
They've been standing behind the three-point line with Rozier. It makes such a huge difference. Now you only see one of them on the floor.
Right.
So right now, Larry Brown has to make an adjustment to the effect of Rozier.
there's the Wallaces. What they've done tonight, it's been minimal, although 12 rebounds is good, but that's just a normal night for Ben Wallace. And Fred Jones fouls with Hamilton.
Yeah, I mean, the law firm of Hamilton is still very good.
Yes, he's still a practicing partner tonight. And he'll step to the free throw line. 21 tonight after back-to-back 23-point performances in the first 2 games and 20 in game 3.
And there's been a merger on the other side. You know that. You know, it was just the law firm of O'Neill.
Right.
Now it's O'Neill, Miller, Artest, and Crozier.
Let's check in with Jim.
Brad, they're telling us from the Pacer locker room, Jamal Tinsley's return is very questionable because of that hamstring. It is questionable if he will play at all.
All right, so
the rest of the way.
The hustle that he showed almost taken over our table here as he was trying to get to that loose ball probably cost him the rest of the night. Harrington got close at the buzzer to end the third quarter. So a long way to come back for the Detroit Pistons if they're to take a commanding lead. Right now it looks like Indiana is going to be happy heading back to Indianapolis and Speed Weekend with a 2-2 tie in the best of 7. They're 12 minutes away from tying things up, and they lead by 20.
4 Eastern, 1 Pacific, the WNBA on ABC. And I'm joined now by Swin Cash, a member of the defending champion Shock. Not long ago, you got to go to Washington, talk to George Bush. How was that?
It was exciting. I've met him before, but to have the opportunity to go into the Oval Office was amazing.
Now, you're going to the Olympics, and Larry Brown told me he recently read an article in the New York Times about how proud you are and how it's a statement for you and your mom. The fact that that had an impact on Larry Brown, what does that mean to you?
It means a lot because anyone that knows me understands that, you know, I'm a very humble person. I never forget my roots. McKeesport's always been my hometown. My mom raised me there, and to have the opportunity to play for my country is amazing.
He thinks so, too. He's been involved in it for so long. What about the concern about security over there? How concerned are you?
I wouldn't say it's as much concern as that I'm very aware of what's going on over there. But a lot of credit to the WNBA, USA Basketball. They're keeping us informed about everything that's happening.
What about this game? This is not a typical performance by Detroit. What do you think they've got to do to adjust going back to Indianapolis?
Well, I think right now we need to get some momentum just for the game coming up next in Indiana. And they have to play defense. I mean, that's what they're known for, is playing tough defense. And we need to play defense and then execute on offense.
Swin, good luck tomorrow. We'll look forward to watching you.
Thanks so much. Go Pistons.
Let's send it back to you guys.
All right, Swin, good luck tomorrow. Good luck in Athens this summer.
Well, she can be a coach.
Heck yeah, she's got it figured out, I can
She's
tell you.
talking about momentum, the same thing Larry Brown was saying.
And you know, during the beginning of that fourth quarter, the crowd tried to help as well. They're trying to get into it. Corliss Williamson knocks down the jumper.
And you're going to see the Detroit Pistons start trapping now and putting a ton of pressure on this Pacer team. You know, Larry Brown is looking at this clock, and I know it's a 17-point lead, but he's thinking if we can get it down to the 10-point mark with 6 minutes left, then we're right back in this game.
You didn't major in math at Marquette, did you?
No.
It's an 18-point lead, but I understand what you're talking about.
I'm looking at the scoreboard.
The scoreboard's different than the clock, so maybe you're right. The scoreboard is 17. The scoreboard's wrong, says Pat McGrath, H statistician. See, Doc, I take it back. I apologize. You were looking at the board instead of our graphic.
But you were right still.
They just fixed the scoreboard now to the 18-point advantage that Corliss Williamson's going to try to cut into. And a foul on Jones from behind as he knocks it away from Ben Wallace, and that's 4 on Fred Jones.
I think what Rick Carlisle is thinking right now, and this team is a little too small that I have on the floor. I mean, I've gone small ball, but this is tiny ball.
Yeah.
I'm going to go a little bigger.
And
because
the bigger,
right now they're getting destroyed on the board.
The bigger and the batter are coming back in, or waiting to.
But you know how tough this is for a coach, Brad? When you play one way all year, you play big, and then you decide to go small, and you watch your team get out-rebounded, but you're winning the game. I think it's taking everything in Rick Carlisle's body to stay small.
here they come. Artest and O'Neal will check back in, and Bender and Crozier will go out. That guy would be getting a huge ovation if it was a home game for the Pacers. Crozier.
He is somewhere.
He is back in Indianapolis, you can bet. Under 11 minutes. Williamson kicks it out to Billups. The extra pass to Hamilton for 3. And Corliss Williamson almost fought in there to get the rebound, but it's handled by the Pacers. Pacers haven't had a field goal now in like 5 minutes, and that's really the only stretch they've had tonight. They've had many of those, 13 of those coming into the game so far in the series where they've had droughts of 3 minutes or more. They hadn't had one until right now. And Jermaine O'Neal just ended it.
He caught the ball on the post where he likes it. It's a matter of feet. When he catches that 2 or 3 feet further out, he doesn't score. When he catches it deep, he's tough to stop.
Rasheed Wallace trying to pack it into Corliss Williamson, and Artest with those quick hands knocks it out of bounds.
And look at the difference here. Deep, 1 step, 2 step, turn around, an easy shot in his range.
And for the first time in the series, Kenny Anderson's in the lineup, with Jamal Tinsley out with the injured hamstring and Anthony Johnson having to be his main backup. The veteran out of Georgia Tech now in for the first time. Jones trying to come up with a steal. It was just as good as a steal because he knocked it too far away for Williamson to get a shot off.
Yeah, good call, Brad, because it was a steal. You know, when you deflect the ball and the 24-second clock goes off, they don't count a steal, but coaches do.
So here's Kenny Anderson's first offensive movement for the Pacers. He was a starter at times in the beginning of the year before Tinsley got the message from Rick Carlisle of what he wanted from his point guard.
And he'll probably end up with a shot because that's what happens when you haven't played in a while.
Artest fadeaway jumper. Not exactly what they were looking for, but it goes out of bounds, and they'll still have 2 more seconds to work with. Harrington turns and fires. Almost got it with the clock winding down.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Billups now try to get in this game.
And Ben Wallace trying to tip it, and what he does is tips it out of bounds. Tayshaun Prince has not scored tonight, so his offensive deficiencies continue somewhat in this playoff series.
Yeah, it's really been only one Piston tonight offensively, and that's Rip Hamilton.
And that hasn't been enough. They're down 20. We approach 9 minutes. Pacers using some clock up here. And now Jones with a turnaround jumper.
Boy, the Pacers aren't playing the way they were playing, though. They're just kind of moving the ball, looking at the clock. They have to get back into the offense, and they play for 3 quarters.
Prince has an open look there. Boy, they can't get anything to drop right now, even when they're getting open shots. O'Neal running the floor. Fouled by Prince. Nope, no foul. And check out Phillips HD TV. Clear enough to know that it's a 20-point lead right now for the Indiana Pacers on the road. As we take a look at our Sprite Mad Skills, a guy we were so worried about, 3rd in the MVP voting this year. Jermaine O'Neal went down with 2:33 left in the first quarter with that knee injury. Went to the locker room and then came back out and said, I'm not sitting. Told Rick Carlisle, put me back out. It's paid off. He's blocked shots. He's hit shots. He's rebounded. He's having a great all-around game for a guy that's going to have an awful stiff knee tomorrow morning.
Yes, he is. But I think it's a great move by Carlisle. What he told us before or after halftime is we're going to keep him out there because he knows he has to keep him warm. So great move by Rick Carlisle.
12 points, 12 boards, 4 blocks. And the Pacers 8 minutes and change away from going back to Indy, tied at 2.
And Willis Reed is thinking, wow, this guy is tough.
Yes, he is. Here he is. He'll give it up this time. Kenny Anderson has an open shot. In and out, and Wallace with the rebound.
Oh, it's no doubt. They're going to leave Kenny Anderson. They're going to make him make shots. He can, but he hasn't shot the ball in so long. They're going to test that theory.
He was the first guy out here tonight to warm up. Billups over Kenny Anderson for three. You said, don't be surprised if Billups gets involved, and that helps the Pistons' cause a bit with a three-pointer. Every possession for the Pistons, every stop they can get is crucial right now. And Rasheed Wallace reaches around and fouls Jermaine O'Neal.
Well, Jermaine O'Neal had great post position. I mean, there's no way he wasn't either going to get fouled or get a bucket. So in essence, that's like a stop for Detroit because they stopped him from scoring, and now they have to reset it. That was a good foul.
And the reset with the shot clock under 10 now. They move it around, the extra pass. Jones clangs a three off the front of the iron, and Ben Wallace has another rebound.
See, Chauncey Billups right now is looking at Kenny Anderson. He's looking at his size, number one, and the fact that he hasn't played number two, and the fact that he hasn't scored much number three. You're going to see him be far more aggressive than he's been all night.
Almost shot that one off the inbound. It'll be Wallace for three instead. Missed badly. Rip Hamilton tried to save it, did he? He did.
Well, there's no room. If you can get the ball, get the ball. Fred Jones could have grabbed that ball, but he was scared that he might go out of bounds. But by doing that, and that's why he's coming out, he allowed another shot. I mean, watch. He can grab it. He didn't see Rip, and now the Pistons get the ball back.
And Fred gets to see the bench.
What the officials are asking right now is, did it hit the rim? And if it hits the rim, it goes back to 14.
They say no.
No.
They're going to leave it alone. One more big shot by the Pistons, and I think they'd have the crowd back in their hip pocket. Billups, it'll be a three. Kept alive, and another foul. It'll be on Harrington again. That's 4 on Al.
You know, the Pacers better be very careful with this lead.
Still a lot of time. Largest deficit overcome at the end of a third quarter, 21 2 years ago. Billups. Now he's going to go to the baseline against Anderson, and he got it, and a chance to add one.
Yeah, Rick Carlisle was going to make a move already, going back on Anthony Johnson, because the bottom line is a guy hasn't played in a month. It's very difficult, and he already has a size disadvantage. So Billups sees that. He's going to take advantage of it.
And as good as Kenny has been over 13 years, he is considered a bit of a defensive liability, if you will. I guess is the way to put it.
And more importantly, when you don't play, it's tough.
Right.
So what Rick Carlisle's going to do is give him some minutes, because he knows he's going to need him in the next game, most likely, with Tinsley's help.
Pacers now have missed 9 of their last 10 shots. The crowd comes to life with a chant of defense as we're under 7 minutes. They're trying to fight their way back in this thing. Our test is open. The rebound is Wallace. Rasheed, that is.
Well, I said if they can get it to 10 with 6, if they score here, they're getting a lot closer.
Billups got his man to go by. 3, got it! Detroit won't go away. My partner said Billups is going to get involved soon. I think he's in a rhythm, and I think the Pistons are back in the ballgame. Said, let's make the hustle plays 2 timeouts ago, and said, let's see if we can make something happen that way, and they have. Their defense has turned into offense. They have cut a 23-point lead down to 11. And Doc said if they get down to 10 with 6 minutes to go, we got a ball game. We're very, very close. A 15-3 run in the last 7:41, and a lot of that's when Austin Crozier came out. Doc, you talked during the timeout with me about that, and now he's back in.
Yeah, you know what Rick Carlisle did? They had a 20-point lead. He looked at his team and said, now let's go with our defensive unit. I thought it was a good move at the time. The problem with that now is they haven't scored. And now they actually need defense, but they need Crozier on the floor for his offense. Interesting move.
He's out there with Anthony Johnson, Reggie Miller, Ron Artest, and Jermaine O'Neal. Crowd is wanting to get crazy. Artest got it. Boy, big shot.
You know, and I know I'm beating the Crozier thing, but Rasheed Wallace was standing right there, could have helped, but he was scared to because he was guarding Crozier.
Hamilton kicks it out. Billups, another three. Nope, that's a 2, and he missed it. They know they're going to need Chauncey Billups outside shooting now and Rip Hamilton's penetration and drives. But they also have to find a way to stop the Pacers. They did there. Billups skips it into Rasheed Wallace, and Jermaine O'Neal fouls him from behind.
Now, I want you to watch our test here. Look at the top of your screen. You're going to see Rasheed Wallace. He wants to help, but he's watching Crozier the whole time. Any other time, if Crozier's not on the floor, that's a blocked shot by Rasheed Wallace.
And now Rasheed will go to the free throw line.
It's amazing what shooting does to a defense. You know, in Orlando, I had Pat Garrity. And when you brought him in and you put him in at the 4 spot, he scared the heck out of teams.
Rasheed Wallace still hasn't scored in the second half tonight. Corliss Williamson will go out. Tayshaun Prince will sit. Rasheed with 8 points. All came in the first half, though.
The problem when you're down 20, you can't make any mistakes. You have to make your free throws. You can't turn the ball over, and you can't allow the other team to score.
Every possession's crucial. Nobody knows it better than that guy. And Rasheed Wallace maybe a little bit tired, short on both free throws. So the lead remains 13. Artest over Corliss Williamson and got his own miss.
Good patience.
And now Corliss Williamson goes to the deck trying to steal the ball. Five minutes left. And the Pacers leading 74-61. Brad Nessler, Doc Rivers, Michelle Tafoya, Jim Gray, and our ESPN crew here. The Palace of Auburn Hills, where the Pistons were hoping to take a commanding 3-1 lead in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Pacers have a different idea. They're trying to get it back home for Game 5, even at 2 apiece.
Yeah, they look pretty good right now.
Under 5 minutes. Artest banging away with Williamson and scoring again.
That's a huge possession. That's a 48 seconds they took off the clock and then got a score.
And pushed the lead back to 15. Quieted the crowd. And Billups trying to wrap around pass to somebody and nobody home.
And you can see Artest banging, but the offensive rebound is what bought them more time, and then the score that late in the clock is close to a perfect possession.
Crozier inside to O'Neal. Draws a double team, and Rasheed Wallace is going to pick up the foul.
So again, they got it down to 6 seconds. They get fouled. Now they get to take the ball back out of bounds. A foul that late in the clock, when you're not in penalty, is just like an offensive rebound. You get to take the ball back out and use more clock.
Some of the fans losing faith, heading to the exits at the 4-minute mark. And the foul is going to be Corliss Williamson. That's his 4th.
So let's use some more clock.
Yeah.
Let's take it back out and use more clock.
They use it down to 5 seconds. O'Neal, and it's stripped by Ben Wallace. And the clock will expire that time. So the Pistons finally got a stop, but it took a long time to get it. Timeout with 3:56 remaining in the ball game. Pistons on the short end on their home floor. Pacers by 15. Banged up and bruised, but they have kept playing through it, including Jermaine O'Neal. Jamal Tinsley has not come back now after re-injuring his hamstring. And then Ron Artest has taken over some of the strength stuff as he always does. An 18-point, 10-rebound night for him in the last 2 possessions he scored for the Pacers, and they've been killer shots just when Detroit got it down to an 11-point difference. Rick Carlisle said we're going to shoot better eventually. We have to be able to because we can't keep shooting 35%. Tonight, it's better.
Yeah, and the key, though, is that they got better shots. You know, they ran their offense. Was not a lot of ISO basketball. They got great shots all night. I thought it started with Jermaine O'Neal. It started with the change in putting Crozier in.
Yep.
And Reggie Miller makes shots. Artest makes shots. Everything goes well. And for this young team, their confidence rises. This is a character game. We talked about it before. We wanted to see how this young team would respond.
And they did.
And they did. It's amazing how quickly a playoff series can change.
Well, after Game 3, people were just saying, I don't care if the Pacers won 61 in the regular season or not. They can't get any shots, so how are they ever going to beat these guys? And now it's been a different story tonight. That's Rasheed Wallace's first point for the second half. He's got 10. Again, the Pacers will use some clock. Artest has been the late shot clock man all night for the Pacers. And he is again.
Boy, those are daggers.
The 6 points he scored of his 20 in this quarter have been killers to the Pistons. Wallace with a fadeaway jumper, a little bit short. O'Neal easily handles the rebound. Down to 8 on the shot clock. Might as well give it to Artest. That one he airmailed to Ben Wallace. 18th rebound for Ben Wallace tonight. It's not going to matter, I don't think, how good that looks in the scorebook.
You almost expect it.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. You said 18 rebounds. I didn't flinch.
We're so used to seeing him get in the 20 range just about every game. Jermaine O'Neal picks up his 5th foul. Chauncey Billups will go to the free throw line. Chauncey's had a good 4th quarter, but it looks like it's going to be for naught.
But, you know, you look at the scoreboard, the Pacers have 78 points. So they haven't had an offensive explosion here. They've just made some shots. What they've done, and Rick Carlisle talked about it, they went back to the basics, and they played defense. They got defensive stops, and they scored.
Remember,
that's the difference.
They haven't had an 80-point game in this series yet. The Pacers, that is. And barring a major collapse here in the last 2:26, they should at least hit the 80 mark. $20 points for Chauncey Billups. Trying to trap now all over the court. We're down near the 2-minute mark. O'Neal kick out the extra pass. Reggie for 3. Got it. Wow. And Ron Artest had already turned around, looked at us, and pointed one finger in the air like you might as well count that.
Before he shot it, he was walking the floor.
Loose ball, rebound, Wallace again. Rip Hamilton steps back, and he'll shoot a 3. Rasheed Wallace with a rebound. Now Billups, and he's fouled. That's going to be on Anthony Johnson. Watch this now. Reggie is taking the shot. Ron Artest is already walking towards us. He's not even watching. That's great. That's great. That's having trust and confidence in your three-point shooter.
That's trust in history.
Oh, boy.
That's been good. That is pretty good.
And Billups misses his first free throw of the night.
And good move by Rick Carlisle getting Jermaine O'Neal off the floor.
Yeah. No sense now for him to be out there with 1:44 left, as the Pacers, with a 16-point lead, will be heading home to Conseco Fieldhouse, where they had one of the best records in the business this year. And though they did lose one to Detroit there to lose home court advantage, they'll regain it here tonight.
And the swagger's back.
Yep. They had lost it. We've been around them for several days, both in the hotel and at the practices and shoot-arounds, and this was a team searching for answers, and I guess they found it tonight.
Yeah, they found the answer. He has a number of 44.
Artest, 3 on the shot clock. His field goal percentage, because he's had to take all the shots with the clock winding down, isn't going to be the greatest, but he's had, without a doubt, his best night of the playoffs.
He's had a big night.
Chauncey Billups for 3. Pistons are tired right now. Even the threes aren't getting near where they need to be, and we're down to the final minute of what will be a resounding success for the Pacers tonight.
And we get to see a Game 5 with a 2-2 series. That's exactly what you want if you're a fan of basketball. It's going to be a war.
And we're going back for Speed Week. Doc's already been part of the Speed. Every Memorial Day weekend since '65, ABC Sports has been trackside at the Indy 500, and Doc decided he needed to be part of that.
Yeah.
They crammed him in that car. I don't know how they got you out. I think with a can opener.
Like a little girl.
Do you pull that all the way
That's great. That's we can run a fast break like that tonight. We're in good shape. Hey, thank you very much. It's clearly the most fun I've ever had in clothes. I'll tell you that. I mean, it was amazing, but I was scared. I got to tell you.
Oh man, the look on your face even hours later. Our race day coverage begins on ABC Sunday morning, 11 o'clock Eastern time on ABC Sports Championship Television, and then we'll be with you on Sunday nights after the race on ABC Sunday morning and Sunday afternoon, 8 o'clock Eastern time from Conseco Fieldhouse. We'll be tipping it off with the key NBA shoot-around, Kevin and the guys at 7:30, and then we'll tip Game 5 dead even at 2 apiece on Sunday night.
I'm just still amazed at the change of this series. I mean, I got to tell you, Brad, when you watch the Pacer players the last couple of days, you can see them searching for answers. Rick Carlisle searching for answers, and they found an answer. And now it's an entirely different series, and the Pacers have home court again.
Let me ask you this, just in your opinion, what adjustments is Coach Brown going to have to make?
Well, he's going to have to make a decision what he's going to do with Austin Crozier, how he's going to match up. If he puts a big on him, that means one of his bigs will be spending time out at the three-point line.
So he's got to go to somebody smaller.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked to see him put a Tayshaun Prince on Crozier, and you may see a Ben Wallace guarding Artest, who is closer to the basket. But, you know, at the end of the day, Larry Brown, the one thing that makes him a great coach, he doesn't believe in big changes. He thinks do it better, do it harder, do it better. And I think that's what he's going to be preaching this evening.
There'll be some execution speeches going on between now and Sunday. And Rick Carlisle, who made his adjustments count, and they paid off brilliantly tonight. As we're down to the final half minute of play. So while the Western Conference Finals has the Lakers one win away from eliminating the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Indiana Pacers, who didn't get out of the first round of the playoffs the last 3 years, are right back in the thick of things in this one now because they have regained the swagger, the look of a team that won NBA best 61 games in the regular season. And as Doc said, the questions have been answered and the swagger is back. Pacers win it easily. 83-68 is the final. And let's check in with Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Brad, with Jermaine O'Neal. Jermaine, you told me at halftime, this is our season. I'll worry about my knee after the game. How is your knee?
It's pretty sore right now. Obviously, right now I feel a lot better, about my knee because we won. It just the team came out and played the way we normally play. What we played the entire season. We didn't really worry about making shots. And when you don't worry about making shots, things happen. So I got to say hi to my daughter Asia and Misha out in Cancun right now. I told them we was going to win this game for them.
This team is always talked about as being so young. Did you guys take a major step and grow up tonight?
Sometimes, when you're down, it brings the team together. Like I told you yesterday, I didn't have any more Save the World speeches. Just us coming out, playing together, being a family, just playing basketball, having fun. And Coach Carlisle came in and gave a speech before the tip-off, and he just told us, we're not going to go over any more things on the board. We just got to go out and play and have fun, and we did today.
Did Austin Crozier change the complexion of this series?
He was big for us tonight. He spreads the defense. He keeps Rashid away or either been away from the goal and allow guys to go one-on-one with me.
All right, congratulations, Jermaine. We'll see you Sunday night.
Thank you.
All right, back to you, Brad.
All right, Jim, thanks. Jermaine O'Neal, a big night. Played 38 minutes on a bad knee. It'll be more sore tomorrow, but as he said, it feels pretty good now because we won by 15 points. Lowest point total for the Pistons so far in the playoffs.